Hi, this is Michael with a video for you. We've created this video to help you become a better Slack user. It's important for you to be comfortable and proficient using Slack because there's a 95% chance that you'll be using this in your first job. Let's make a thread. That's the first thing we're going to show. And now we can use a thread to organize our discussions, make questions easier to find, and this will generally keep Slack more organized than just being a straightforward chat room. So in order to create a thread, we will first send a message and then reply to it. So I will create a thread for questions about the first homework, for some tech support questions. So I will send a message, and then I will go into the options for the message and click reply in thread. And this will start off the thread and allow students to reply to this with questions. The next thing we'll talk about is how to make a post or how to post code into Slack. So in order to make a post, what we'll do is instead of typing the message, we'll click on the icon here for shortcuts. This will bring up all of the things we can create in Slack. I will click on create a post, and now this will bring up a text editor, and I can add a title, and I can add some text here. And then to actually post this, we click on share, and then we have to go and find the specific channel. It doesn't pre-populate. So we select the channel here. We can even make this post editable. So then we click share and it appears, and then done editing, and X this out. So then we can click on this to edit it, and so this can be a good way to communicate stuff that's less transient than a particular message. And so we can do things like pin this one to the channel so that we don't lose a post. Now if you want to share code or post a little bit of code for a very short snippet, you can just switch from the regular text to code mode. In order to do that, you will type the backtick key in the upper left of your keyboard 3 times, and so this will start a code block. And this will have fixed width fonts, but it won't have syntax highlighting. And we can send a message. To post longer code, the best way is to click on shortcuts and then click create a code or text snippet, and then this will bring up a code editor so we can give our snippet a name and select what type of code we're writing in order to get syntax highlighting, and then we can just type out some HTML. And so not only do we have syntax highlighting, we have automatic indentation, and then here we can select the channel and create snippet. And so that way, if we need to give out some code, this is how you can post it on Slack. The next thing that's important to know is about reminders. So if there's a message and you want to remind yourself to go back and look at this, if you want to say look at the slides later today, then you'll highlight the message, you'll click on more actions, and then you can go down here to remind me about this, and then we can select a custom time. So say I want to hear about the slides this evening and I want to look at them at 7 o'clock, and then we can click create, and now the Slack bot will automatically send you a direct message to remind you about this at 7 p.m. today. And in fact, we can even communicate with the Slack bot directly and tell it to remind us about specific things that are not even related to the class. So I can say, remind me to eat dinner at 6 p.m. Now I send this, it's not going to appear in the channel, and I will get a message from the Slack bot tonight. Now, since we've been talking about notifications, it's also important to manage notifications. You can do this either for the entire workspace or for one channel. To control your notifications for the entire workspace, you'll click up here at the top over CSE 134, And here you can go down to your preferences, and you'll see your notifications. By default, you probably have direct messages, mentions, and keywords only, which means you get notified when someone either mentions your user handle, sends you a message, or mentions one of the keywords here that you can place here so that you'll be notified when there's a discussion about something specific. You can pause your notifications on this menu for a custom amount of time, and you can also control the notifications for each channel individually. So you could set some channels to have no notifications, or some channels to notify you about every message. The way that you would do this is that you would go to the details for the channel and click more, or if you don't have the sidebar open, then you'll click details, bring up the sidebar, click more, and then you can control the notifications for just this channel. Now the last few things I want to cover are the keyboard shortcuts. These are useful. To bring up the list of all the keyboard shortcuts for reference, you would hold down Control and do / on Windows, Control /, and on a Mac that would be Command /, and this will give you a list of all the different keyboard shortcuts out there. And so there's useful things. For example, you can bring up your direct messages, you can bring up a list of all of the available channels. Now one more thing you can do is, if you don't have time to read all the way through a channel, but you want to go back at some point, you can set somewhere to mark messages as unread. So you can go up here to a specific message, and under More Actions, you can select Mark Unread. So this means the channel is now highlighted in white, and every message below that point is marked as unread, so that when you come back to this channel, you can then see where to pick up reading. So hopefully all of these tips will help you use Slack better and become more comfortable.